what is marriage? I wanted to be married for a very long time, probably since I was a little girl. I knew I wanted to be married. And actually, I didn't meet Vince till I was 28 or 29. We didn't get married till I was 30. And that was a lot of years of waiting. And I remember putting marriage on a pedestal. It was just this thing that I wanted. It felt like this unattainable thing. Actually being in this vocation, I recognize now that it's so much more complicated and so much more simple than I ever thought it was. Marriage is two broken people making a vow to come together to somehow allow each other's brokenness to make them holy. And it's hard, and it's a lot of work, and it involves so much more trust than I ever thought I was capable of. I've been reading the book, Fulton Sheen's book, 3 to Get Married, and you recognize that, yes, man and woman have this natural attraction to one another. And for centuries, millennia, men and women have been getting together, but what sets marriage apart is the fact that God is in it. Because I know that there's no way that me in my brokenness could get myself to heaven, let alone anybody else. But Jesus came, and we know he elevated this union to the level of a sacrament. And by golly, we need the graces of that sacrament to get us to heaven. And it's funny because I thought that marriage would make me happy, and it does. But it's the kind of happiness that comes from knowing you're working out your salvation. It's not the kind of happiness that comes from me feeling good every single day. It's hard, but I've never felt more myself, and I've never felt more alive.
So the vocation of marriage is like simultaneously this really cool but really scary thing, because when you have a Catholic understanding of vocation and what it means to be called to a life of holiness, in marriage, it means that Jesus has told you, okay, Vince, you're going to be a saint, and the way you're going to do it is with her and with the kids. Good luck, So on the one hand, it's nice because there's no more ambiguity. You're not spending the time searching out, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? How am I going to be holy? How am I going to be a saint? The answer is right there in front of you. But on the other hand, the answer is always right there in front of you. So it's constant, and it's repetitive, and it's sometimes boring. But the routine and the monotony that comes with knowing that, okay, every morning I got to get up and I got to try to love my wife. And every morning I got to get up and I got to try to love my kids. And what that looks like usually is that sometime during the day, I'm going to have to step back and realize how selfish I'm being and just try to work on that death to self. And it's really exhausting. And there's a lot of temptations, I think, to want to change the other person so you don't have to do as much work on yourself or that death to self. But we can't change hearts. That's Jesus's job. So I think more often than not, what it looks like really trying to take those steps in progress and in holiness is using your spouse as a mirror to see where you're failing and working with Jesus on those areas, trusting that he's going to be working with them in a similar way. And in that way, you kind of race each other to the cross.
Yeah, I love the image of the crucifix for marriage because sometimes I think we see Jesus hanging on the cross, and we've seen it so many times that maybe we forget how hard it was for him to mount that cross. Because on the one hand, he loved us. Of course, he would do it for us. That's how I feel as a wife, as a mother. But the actual action of dying to myself, of taking up my cross, is really hard. And so I know for me, that image of the crucifix has really come alive in marriage because it's I finally get it. I finally feel like I'm at a place in my life where I can look at Jesus and say, wow, you did this. And now I know what it is that I'm called to here. And like, it's so much bigger than anything that I know I'm capable of on my own. And so, you know, you look to him and you say, let's do this. Let's do this today, you know?
Yeah.
The end.